Afternoon, guys. Happy 4,082nd day of the lockdown. It's kind of what it feels like, isn't it? I used to always tease Denise, and I know if you know me, that's a shock to you that I would do such a thing. But I used to always tease Denise, and I always quote to her Proverbs 21:9. It says, "It is better to live on the corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife." And I would also quote its cousin, Proverbs 21:19. "It is better to live in a desert land than with a quarrelsome and fretful woman." And during these times, I have been thinking a little bit about these verses. And to be clear, it's not because of my wife. I'm not thinking about it because my wife is quarrelsome or fretful. And, frankly, I think she's been handling this whole lockdown thing a lot better than I have. She's been doing a lot better with the shelter in place. I've been going kind of stir crazy. I've been feeling really cooped up. I haven't been able to train. Jiu-jitsu's always been sort of my kind of my pressure relief valve, being able to interact socially, burn off a lot of steam, stress relief. And since I haven't been able to do that, man, I've been kind of bothersome. I've been annoying the heck out of my kids. I've been annoying my wife. The other day I found Denise out in the backyard looking for a ladder. I think she was trying to find a spot on the rooftop to dwell because I've been so quarrelsome. I wanted to talk a few minutes about just kind of dealing with our home lives and how to deal with our home life during these difficult, stressful times. Paul is writing to the church in Colossae, and he says in Colossians chapter 3, verse 18, "Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them." And I think that as we look at some of these principles and some of the principles we see in Ephesians 5 and 6, and we start to put those principles to practice, as we start submitting one unto another, as it says in Ephesians, as men start loving their wives as Christ loved the church. And how did he love the church, by the way? He laid down his life in sacrifice for them, always looking out for the church's best interests, humbly serving the church. We see Jesus, he never had a selfish motive. He was never violent. He was never unjustly angry. And as we start putting those principles to practice and loving our wives and loving our families and loving the people around us like that, when women do the same, when they love others and put others' needs above their own, when children obey their parents, as Paul talks about in Ephesians 6, as fathers don't provoke their children to wrath, as dads don't be annoying and harassing to the point where we start to drive our wife and kids crazy. I think when everyone in the household, when we do these things, when we put these principles to work, when we practice these principles, when we love and serve one another, when each of us puts our needs below the needs of those around us, when we submit to and serve other people, I think that there's going to be a lot less need to dwell on the corner of a rooftop. I think that we'll all be a lot more content and happy in the home. So I just want to give you these words of exhortation. To have patience with one another. To show grace to one another. And just don't be a jerk. Don't be annoying. And as we do those things, this shelter in place is going to be a lot easier. So I hope you guys are blessed, and tune in on Sunday for the rest of John 20.